Hank, you're chasing a story, an iconic home for sale in Jersey. I like to think from one of the great contrarians in America, Frank Lloyd Wright. What do you got?
Maybe he was. Maybe he was a great contrarian.
There's only so many of them in the state of New Jersey. There were 4. Now there are currently only 3. And to have one of them, it's truly a piece of art, as well as a place to live.
It's cool. I mean, and you can look at it and tell that it's cool.
Did you ever want to own a piece of history, Bill? I know that you did, but what about one you could live in? The James Christie House in Bernardsville is on the market. Realtor Roger Chrisman gave me the grand tour. The home is the largest and oldest New Jersey example of the architectural work of American master Frank Lloyd Wright.
Why do you think he's special after all this time?
Well, I think he still was one. He was very ahead of his time with the architectural, whether it was radiant heat in the floor, just the outdoor living space, and that's what he was really. It was just literally when he built something, it was a case of this is a piece of art.
Bill, the Christie House was built in 1940. Which makes it remarkable. It's got that 1960s, early 70s look to it. It's an early example of Wright's Usonian design theme. A low-slung structure of brick, cypress, and glass stretches out on a slope of green grass. Its many windows granting easy access to forest-filtered rays of sunshine. It's a harmony of structure and space and nature that is a Frank Lloyd Wright calling card.
It literally needed to really fit in with the landscape. It wasn't just taking a piece of property and just plopping a property on. It flows right into the green lawns and the woodlands.
It does, Roger.
Now, Wright is probably best known as designer of the Guggenheim Museum in New York, but he was prolific. He designed more than 1,000 things, more than 500 of those were actually built. But I needed a second opinion, so I went to the best architect I know. Though he's retired, my dad says that Wright's style still stands out simply because it was that good.
Well, if you're going to study history...
He looks like Wilford Brimley, my dad.
Well, if you're going to study history and the history of architecture, he would be one of the chief ones to study.
And Dad studied him in architecture school, University of Virginia. 55 years ago, they were already studying him. So
he came up with a style that was uniquely his own, that lasts really through today and probably well into the future. It's just special design.
Now, my dad adds that just from an historical perspective, the asking price of $2.2 million is probably a bargain. Yeah. It's on 7 acres in Bernardsville, but when the light switches are in the low ceiling instead of on the wall because the designer thought they looked ugly there, you know you're in a special place.
All the light switches are all in the ceilings.
Holy mackerel, I wonder why.
It's almost 80 years old, and you look at that house and go, wow,
pretty amazing.
It could have been built yesterday, you know.
Yeah.
But know when you get into it, you know, you better have bank, and you're gonna have to look after it well.